world to be separated in two. You're now on the Dutch side of the island, which is 16 square miles, and you have the French side, which is 21 square miles. A total of 37 square mile island. In a minute, we're going to be coming up to the capital of the Dutch, which is called Philipsburg. Here we have two shopping streets. The first is called the Front Street. That's where you get all your jewelry and your high-end shopping. And then you have the back street where you get all of your local shopping. Driving around today, you might see some destroyed buildings like you have up front. That is going to be from a hurricane we had in 2017. That was Hurricane Irma. Irma was a category 5 when she hit the island with winds up to 185 miles per hour. So any destruction you see today is going to be from 2017. Coming up, this is the oldest building in the Philipsburg area. This building has been around 1920s. Stood up strong. Now we have two pleasures on the island. On the left, on that side we do cheese and liquor. On the French side of the island we do chocolate and wine. Yes, both sides of the island we love our alcohol.
What's this bird down here? See that bird?
Oh.
6 casinos in this area. On the Dutch side we are 16 square miles and we have 14 casinos. To your left, green building, that used to be the Philipsburg Jubilee Library. It got destroyed for the hurricane, hasn't reopened since. Next to the library, this is the Sundial High School. It's a high school for cooking and home economics. Yes. Straight in front of us in the roundabout, this is called our freedom fighter. Arms are raised when he broke the chains of slavery. Everywhere you see the roundabout, there used to be stoplights. Turn them into roundabouts. Now if you look to your left, you're going to see a body of water there. Now that was once the main economy on the island. That was where we used to harvest the salt. Everything that you're driving on and what you see in front of us was once the great salt. During the time they had most of it filled in so they could build roads and some commercial spaces. Yes. Now on the island, tourism is our #1 economy. So I'd like to thank you guys for coming. Now right to the left, you had the salt. To your right, it was all cotton plantations. If you look there, you're going to see these trees with the pods on them. Those are actually cotton trees. We still do have cotton that grows on the island. We just don't harvest any of the cotton anymore. Legal on the Dutch and not on the French. Something like that. We're coming up to the district where it begins, and that district is called Sucker Garden. Yes. Right here, these are some cotton trees with cotton growing on them. See the white stuff hanging on the trees. Here, this is the first residential district. You can see this is Sucker Garden. When you pass it, you're going to see these houses right to your left. Yes, adult entertainment. Yes, that's how it is on the island. That's probably why they first named it like that. Yes, you can. Now, if you look around, you're going to see these are how the locals of the island build their houses. Now, what we do on the island is if your family already owns a piece of property, like right here, you do not go and buy your own piece of property. We usually all take part of the property ourselves. You have one piece of property, you have aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters. Everyone takes a piece and builds on it. We do it like that so each person in the family can have a piece of property from generation to generation. Also on the island, we don't have a big income. Our minimum wage is $900 a month. So when you're building your house on the island, what we do is we buy all our materials bit by bit. We put them down. Then we wait for the weekends where we can call up all our friends to help us build our house. So the more friends you have, the faster your house gets built.
Chris, see the goat?
Right here you have some goats. On the island, we call them the landholders. Look around, you're going to notice the island is very green. We normally only get 21 inches of rain every year. So normally it's very dry and brown. What happened is over the past week, we've been having some rain during the night. So everything is nice and green. If it goes 1 week without the rain, everything will be brown and crisp. Garden, and we're coming up to Defiance. The area coming up is called Defiance. If you look to your left, this is one family. They each take a piece of the property so they can build their house. Not really. We will all build on one property, but not the same house. Depends on what you can afford. But even though it's a small piece, we all make it work somehow. We go up on top of each other instead of going next to each other. Now if you look to your right, these are what we call the slave walls. These are the walls that the slave built to separate each plantation on the island. Right here used to be a big tobacco plantation. Now on the Dutch side of the island, all of the other slave walls have been destroyed. This is the last one left standing. Also, we don't have anything to export. Everything that we receive is imported to the island. That means all our clothes, foodstuff, building materials, everything we receive is imported. So most people on the island, they try to have a little garden next to their house, like right here. You grow some fruits, bananas, mangoes, just to make it a little easier. In a minute, we're going to leave the main road and head out to the countryside of the island. You're going to see where some of the rich and famous of the island live, as well as most of the politicians of the island. Now to your right, you're going to have a gated community. This is where most of the politicians come to live on the island. There's the entrance. Yes. Now normally you'll get to see a lot of monkeys in this area. You know, about 5 years ago we had none of them on the island. But we have a neighboring island of St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, monkeys are a delicacy. Oh yes. With the amount of St. Kitts people we have living on the island, every time they came over, they come over with their monkeys. Now the island is overrun with them. To the left, everything you see is French. To the right, everything is Dutch. This road sits in between borders. As you're going to notice with our drive today, the French side, they're more about culture and peace and quiet. While on the Dutch side, we're all about parties and nightlife. Get your phones and cameras ready. In a minute, we're going to be crossing the border, headed over to the French side of the island. Now on the island, we have 4 border crossings. We have 2 main crossings and 2 which we call the back roads. There isn't any checkpoints or anything. You're free to cross the borders at any time. If you look from the hilltop, come straight down. These are where some of the rich and famous live on the island. This building right in front of us, this belongs to Sylvester Stallone, currently up for sale.
This one right here? Yeah, the white one. Slide it over there. That's cool.
Now if you make it right, that'll take you to the Dutch Oyster Bay area. Make it left turn, headed over to French Oyster Bay. Now this is one of the back road crossings, as you can see. Just a sign saying Bienvenue au Parti Français, which means welcome to the French side. Now the reason here looks like this is because back in the day, a lagoon used to run straight across. They had it blocked off so they could build a road. So every time the water gets high or it rains, it comes straight back into the road.
Jack, look over there.
Oh, it almost hit this one.
on the hill, and everything across the water. Those are all on the Dutch side of the island. Coming up there, you're going to have the Oyster Bay Beach Resort.
Wow, that's pretty.
The Dutch side.
The roof side, the Dutch side.
Oyster Bay is one of the two main resorts you have on this side. If you like peace and quiet, this is the area you'll come to stay. Now if you look down in the water, you're going to see a destroyed dock. Next to the dock, there used to be a restaurant over there called Captain Oliver's. Now Captain Oliver's was unique because you could have gone there, you and your partner. One would be dining on the Dutch side, the other dining on the French side. The restaurant was directly between borders. The only problem with that is when the hurricane destroyed it, there was a debate about which side of the island was going to fix it. As you can see, hasn't been fixed yet. Now if you look all the way in to the right, you're going to see some cream/yellow buildings. Here's someone to your left. These are the authorities of the French side. On the French side, they use the gendarmes, which is the French military. And on the Dutch side, we use our local police. Now the cream building all the way in, that is the Westin Don Beach Resort and Casino. That got hit the hardest during the hurricane. On this side of the island, you had waves up to 20 feet high. If you look down on the beachfront, all of that, they used to have a resort there. It got completely destroyed. They're now working on it to fix it back. On this side of the island, you had 2 months that you couldn't drive through. You had to wait for the water to reside back to the sea. Everything you see along the sea, all of that is completely flooded. Out of the Oyster Bay area, and we're coming into Corralita. This area is called Corralita. This used to be a resort before the hurricane got destroyed. Now they turned it into guest houses. As you can see also on this side of the island, we get a lot of seaweed. All the seaweed comes in from this side. Now if you look across the water, you're going to see there's an island out there. Now that island is the French territory of St. Bart's. The French call it Saint Barthélemy. Now St. Bart's is the most expensive island in the Caribbean. Let you know that a hamburger and fries with a Coke will run you 60 to 70 US dollars.
Wow.
Yep. That's where all the rich and famous go to spend their holiday. Yeah, you can barely see the stuff
the clouds, yeah.
Now in a minute we're going to be coming up to our first stop, which is going to be a 10-minute picture stop.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Now all of the islands you see, they're walking distance. The water reaches you waist high at most. This area is called Lucas Bay.
That's really pretty.
It is also where we used to catch most of the conchs back in the day. But it turned like an endangered species, so you're not allowed to pick them if you come on the French side.
Oh, cops. The
Yes.
dogs.
Yeah, these people way down there.
One island, two different two different nationalities. So what's allowed on one side might not be allowed on the next. Okay everyone, 10 minutes for you to get your pictures.
Can you send me that video when you're done?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Now if you look across the water, you're going to see the longest beach we have on the island. Now this is the La Gallion/Orient Bay. It is also where you have the nude beach. There is one nude beach, and it's only allowed on the French side of the island, not on the Dutch. Yes, it has a big sign.
I feel like I'm looking at a guy coming down on a parachute or something.
Oh yeah.
See that? To the right?
Now I do.
Maybe they're doing that where you pull it
Now coming
behind
up right
and
here, you have one of the most unique roads to drive on the island. Now right there, if you're driving and you happen to hit one of the animals, you will have to stop and wait for authority. All animals on this side have right of way. So you have to wait for the authorities to arrive and you will be given a fine. Only good part is, when you pay for your fine, you will get to keep your meat. If you look at the top of the hill, you're going to see we have sheep and goats up there. Those are our sheep pens, goat pens. On the island, what they do is the sheep and goats, they come out in the morning, they roam around, get their own breakfast and lunch. When it gets close to dinner time, they all come back home so you can feed them. Now, if you look to your right, you're going to notice we have two different bodies of water. Now, first you have the beach. Next, this is the lagoon. During the hurricane, both of those waters came together. That's why this side of the island got so heavily flooded. Now if you look below us to your right, there used to be a house down there. That's all that's left of the house. Yes, most people do. But what happened is, after the hurricane, all the insurance companies left the island. So they left all of this, all of these, completely destroyed. Insurance left, no money to rebuild.
Seeing this guy?
Now what they do on the French side is, they give most of the people 10 years. If you're not back in the 10 years to rebuild your property will be confiscated and sold. see to your right, all of that used to be the lagoon. They had it filled in so they could build everything you see. Now when they build all their houses, they had nowhere to run their septic. They run their septic directly into the lagoon.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the days, you used to get all the oysters out of this lagoon.
Not now, baby.
No more oysters. The locals of this area let you know that they do get some very big crabs out of this lagoon. But if you're going to eat the crab, you have to make sure that you purge your crab. If you do not purge your crab is going to purge you.
Yikes.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that is for the road work. They always have some road work doing on the French side. Coming up here, you're going to have an iguana park. Now, just like the monkeys, we had no iguanas back in the day. Our island, our native island of Curacao, they also eat iguanas over there. That is their delicacy. They say it tastes like chicken. I've never tried it to find out.
Tastes like chicken.
Right here. If you look, you see how much of them are all there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, down here, look. Oh, wow.
Now, there's usually a big orange one there. The guy named him Trump.
All along here.
Looking over here. He's in the corner over there.
See him, man? See him, Dad? Oh, watch it.
Oh, straight through some food. Good God.
Now, they're harmless. They're vegetarian. They only eat your leaves and your garden.
Look at that big
The
one.
only dangerous
Man.
thing about them is if you do try to grab them, they might hit you with their tails.
Look at that big giant one.
They carry salmonella, too.
It's great.
You get a
Here's
picture
the
of
little
that,
guy.
Bob?
Jab. Chris is doing it.
Look at that one back there behind the...
Mm-hmm.
All right. Grab your seat, everyone. We can't stay. The other buses are coming. Yeah. Before, like, normally we used to, like, if you had time, we would have stopped, try to let people come out fast. They let you feed them and stuff like that. But it's, with the road being fixed, it's very difficult to stop people. Alright, everyone, we're now into the district of French Quarter. The French, they call it Quartier d'Orléans. Now, French Quarter used to be the capital back in the day. It is the largest and oldest district on the French side of the island. They had to move the capital to Marigot because there is no port on this side
You
of the
know why
island.
they have those rods sticking out? They can't build out.
Look right to your left, these
So
are
they stick the
manholes.
rods up there, thinking that eventually they'll build up.
Yes, we get all
Those are
kinds of them
rebar
on the island.
support the concrete and stuff.
Pretty interesting.
Same thing with St. Thomas. Those are just in case they get the money to pull it together, build up.
Now, if you look to your left, you're going to see some brightly painted buildings over there. Now, these are the government housing projects on the French side of the island. Right in there. I would say that the Dutch, that's because the Dutch relies on tourism. The French doesn't rely on tourism that much. They're all, the French is directly under France, so they get most of their laws and everything from straight into France. Whereas on the Dutch side, we're independent now, so we have some of our own laws.
Explain who's spending the money for the improvements on the side.
Now right here you have one of the schools on the French side of the island. Now, a unique thing with the French, each district will have their own kindergarten and primary schools. They do it like that to make it easier for the kids. You'll stay in your district to go to school, and then when it's time for high school, they all leave to go to the Marigot and La Savane area, where they have two of the high schools. Now on the French side, the school goes from 7, you stop at 12, you have a 2-hour lunch break. You come back at 2 o'clock and you would finish at 5 o'clock. On the Dutch side of the island, the schools will run from 7 to 1:30 the most. You have a choice. You can either go home or you go to something what they call the canteens. You can spend the hours in the canteen where they will have food. You order your food and you sit and have your lunch. So it all depends on what you want to do. Yes, absolutely. The reason the schools are long on the French side because they wanted that most of the time when your parents are home from work, the kids are coming home from school. So the kids don't have to be home by themselves. Now coming up, you're going to see this small white building right here. Now this used to be the prison back in the day. 4 prisoners, 2 guards, nothing more. Now on the French side of the island, you don't have any prison. If you commit a crime, you will be flown directly to Guadeloupe. Also on the island we have 3 types of currencies we use. On the French side they use the euros. On the Dutch side we use the Netherlands guilder as well as the US dollar. But if you do any shopping on the French side of the island with US currency, you will receive your change in the same currency. So no need to worry. Yes. The next stop is going to be in the capital of the French. What I'm not going to be sure about is how many places it's going to have. Because like where they have the local vendors, I'm not sure if they all have credit cards in there. You're going to get your change back in the same currency you use. Yeah. No, if you spend it in US currency, they'll give you back in the same currency. Now, if you get your phones and cameras ready, when we get to the top of this hill, you're going to see the oldest church in this area. Now, this church has been around since the late 1800s. It is made out of ballast stones. Now, we have 2 main religions on the island. On the French side, it is Catholic. And the Dutch side it is Methodist. But we do have many different religions here.
So right there.
Right here?
You're just saying ballast stones. Stones that can be used for ballast.
Is on the French side they have a problem with their water. They've been having it for about 6 months now that they have to turn off and on the water with some problems. So they're digging up all the roads to rebuild the pipes. Now right here back in the day, both sides of the road used to be sugarcane plantation. If you look in front of us to your right, you're going to see there's a house on the hill. Now that guy was the first to make rum out of the sugar cane. Now up to this day, when you see him, he always lets you know that his family is the first to start making rum on the island. He always say he doesn't make it anymore, but he still drinks it. Now it's been turned to a museum. While we're passing, you can see some pots, boilers, and so forth laying on the ground. Now coming up, you're going to have the entrance to head to the nudist beach. To your right, where you have all the palm trees. Before the hurricane, we had a nudist resort there. That resort got destroyed for the hurricane. What they decided to do was to create a little bar and a restaurant, as well as a hotel. Now you cannot go to that end of the beach unless you plan on being nude. But if you are nude, then you can walk the entire beach. From the blue bar, go straight up, everything go up. That is all part of the nudist area.
That's not the beach.
Shack versus well built.
To your left,
Bunch of goats.
those are sheep and goats mixed up. Do you guys know the difference between the sheep and the goats?
Yes.
I've just learned it 2 years ago. I never knew. They say that the sheep, their tails stand down and they have no horns. While the goats, all their tails stay straight up and they have horns. I was like, you learn something new every day. If you look across the water to your right, you're going to see a strip of beach out there on the island. You guys see it?
Yes.
Now that is called Penel Island. You can take a fisherman's boat, 10 minutes across the water. You can go over there and spend the entire day. You got water sports, bars, restaurants, everything right there. Now coming up right here, this is the only place on the island that you're allowed to cross the road nude. Both sides are part of the Orient Bay, so you're allowed to go from one side to the next, nude without any problems. To your left, it is also where they hold their parties during the summer. Now you will be driving past, everyone will be partying, they're all there waving at you. As you would imagine, it's not just their hands they're waving. Right here you have the #1 steakhouse on the French side.
Not only just their hands waving. Down here. Yeah, get it?
Now right here you usually get to see some big iguanas on the trees if you pay attention.
Probably more than just your hand waving.
Nice
No,
place over
Right,
there.
yeah.
With the blue
There
roof.
used to be a big orange one on this side.
Is that how?
Look,
I don't know.
only know what can tell.
Looks like a resort. I don't know.
They usually come out early, try to get as much sun as possible, and then they'll run back in. Nobody likes to wait on the island, so you get that a lot. Now across the water, you're gonna have the buildings with the blue roof. Now that was once a famous resort on this side called Mount Vernon Resort. They got hit by the hurricane and now they made it into guest houses. In case you're wondering, guest houses we call long-term rental of the rooms. If it's a studio, it goes for about six to 700, fully furnished. No, that's per month. So that's how they'll take the studio rooms or the one-bedroom rooms and they just rent them out monthly. but it's come with everything in it. So.
It's very inexpensive.
Now, if you look across to your right, you're going to see the house with the red roof. Now, that man is the second richest person on the French side of the island. He made his money back in the day by providing milk. He used to provide all the milk on the island back in the day. He owned all the cattle, and everyone had to come to his house to get their milk. Now, with the money he made, what he did was own a lot of property on the island. Now, everything you're going to see to your left, he owns all of that property. What you do on the island is, if you own a lot of property, you do not sell it. You would lease it to foreign investors. So he leased all of the property to foreign investors, and then every month he comes along and collects from every business that you see. Also, where you see to your right there, he owns all of there. He has the horses, usually you got the cattle there as well. Up on the hill you can see the goats.
Look up there, wow.
Now on this island we have two. Whoa. Now on this island we have two of everything. Coming up, this is the first of the two airports. This is the smaller airport on the island. It is called L'Espérance Airport, which means Experience Airport. No international flights on this airport, only flights to the neighboring islands. The biggest plane here holds about 60 to 80 passengers, nothing more. If you want any international flights, you have to come to the Dutch side of the island, so you can get it. Now, right behind the airport, you're going to have the neighborhood of Grand Case. Now, Grand Case used to be a fisherman's village. Now it is called the food capital of the Caribbean. That's because they transformed Grand Case into restaurants. You can go to Grand Case, you will find 50 to 60 restaurants, all in one district. Now, come up to your left. You're going to see a sign that says Cuisine Centrale. Now on the French side there is a central kitchen. Right here. They do all the cooking for the schools, the hospitals, as well as every government job on the French side. Now they do it like that because, like I told you, with the schools, with the 2-hour breaks, most of the jobs on the French side also has 2-hour breaks. Coming up right here, this used to be the racetrack for the locals back in the day. The gendarmes wanted all the racing to stop, so they had these bumps put down. You look to your left, you have some little iguanas. You get them all over, they like to be around the water. We don't have any fresh water. Everything is salt. This road to your right, that'll take you to the center of the Grand Case area. Right here you have the schools for this district. Yeah, right.
French flag.
exit for Grand Cats. Now if you look to your left here, you're going to see there's a body of water. To the right, coming up, you're going to see how close the beach is. It's right there. Now during the hurricane, both of those waters came together. Everything in the middle totally flooded. You got all these houses completely destroyed.
They all put up these garage door type protectors.
What happened is we get major hurricanes, maybe it's been 21 years apart since we had a major hurricane. We get hurricanes every year, but it's category 1, so some tropical storms. Nothing major, so no one expected it. Now this tree you see with the pods on it, this is our island tree. It is called the Royal Poinciana. The French, they call it La Hollande Boyam. They usually come in 3 colors on the island. You got orange, red, and yellow. Now if you notice on our drive, you haven't seen any casinos or anything on the French side. That's because casinos are not allowed on the French side of the island. What you do on the French side is they still fight their chickens. Yes, if you want to gamble, you have to do cockfighting. That is not allowed on the Dutch, only on the French. Now, right now, this area is called La Savane. Coming up, you're going to have the French side, fire and ambulance, as well as the gendarmes. Ambulance. Right behind them, you're going to have the gendarmes, which is the French authority.
Police. Shall know.
Look up to your left. Hill. All what you see there is mainly condos, Airbnbs, not a residential area. Here, right? All of this is residential. We're entering the district of Rambo. This area is called Rambo. If you look to your left, you're going to see the hill with the antennas on it. Now that is the highest point on the island. It is called Pink Paradise. The French call it Pink Paradis. Up there is also where we have one of the few crops that we do grow on the island, and that is called the guava berry. Now the guava berry grows in the November till the February month. Now those berries from the tree to your mouth will be 7% pure rum. As you would imagine, we never go alone to pick the berries. If we have one too many of them on the hill, you cannot find your way down. Now we take those berries and make our island drink, which is called the guava berry colada. Very sweet, also very strong. We recommend no more than 2 of them for the day. Any more than that, you can try to have babies today. To your left, this is the entrance to head up to Pink Paradise. It is also where you have the lottery farm. Now, lottery farm is a park that has zip lining, swimming pools, hiking. You can go up there and spend the entire day. If you look straight in front of us at the top of the hill, you may say this looks like a fort or a castle. That's actually just a very rich guy's house. When he first came to the island, the hill was filled with stones. He had to have them destroyed so he could build. When he had them destroyed, he decided to build his house out of them. When he finished, he noticed that there were just so many left over, he decided to create a giant wall surrounding his house. That's why it looks like that.
Still don't see it.
Maybe up there. Maybe.
I guess so. Oh, up there, very tall.
Yes, the big
It's like a
people on the
castle.
island, that's
You
their
can't see it
motto.
till we
Right
get
or
at the
die.
right angle. Right up there.
There you can see our tree in full bloom.
See it?
Now, back in the day, we used to have a competition on the island. The best decorated house for Christmas would receive 1 year free electricity. Coming up, you're going to see the house that won it 7 times in a row. After that, they canceled the competition. It's going to be right here. Now we call it the gingerbread house. It stays like that year round. And when Christmas comes along, they will put up all the lights.
Look back there.
Go up there. It's kind of covered up by bushes.
No. What happens is they will trim all the trees, make it more flat for you. There's one port for cruise ships, yes. The French side doesn't have a crew port, but it has a cargo port. Alright, now here you have it. This is the capital of the French. Straight in front of us, you have Marigot. Now if you start straight in front from the farthest body of water, that's going to be on the Dutch side in the Kinshaw area. Next body of water, still on the Dutch side, that is the Simpsonville Lagoon.
This stack with the red on the top is the source of power. It's a gas turbine.
Now if you look to your
See
right,
the waviness comes
everything
off
you
the top
see
of that
along the
stack.
shoreline, that is all on the French side. If you look farther back, you're going to see 2 high-rise buildings in the back there. Now where you have those 2 high-rise buildings, that's going to be on the Dutch side of the island.
There's the turbines there too.
Now straight in front of us, here you have the French Lady of Liberty. And round about the French Lady of Liberty. Oh, they just put on some new clothes on. I'll go around so that you can get to see the front of it.
I'm assuming it's barbed wire just to keep people out of the
Alright, we're now entering Galleys Bay. This area is called Galleys Bay. To your right, you're going to have the French water and power plant.
Yeah, there you go.
A unique thing about this island, on the French side of the island, they use the 220 voltage. On the Dutch side, we use the 110 voltage. We both get our drinking water from the sea. We have it desalinated from the sea and pumped through pipes. Straight in front of us at the top of the hill. Now that is the French fort. That is called Fort Louis. Now they say it takes you anywhere from 95 to 115 steps to get from the bottom to the top of that fort. Yeah, me too. Right there you have some of the kids coming from the college, well, the high school. Back in the day, the road used to come to an end right here. You had to make your left. Everything that is in front of us, that used to be the beach back in the day. If you look right there, they still have the beach. They had it all filled in so they could build this road. That's why they put those stones to the end. Every time the water gets high, it comes straight back into the road.
Oh, yeah. A lot of sailboats.
Yeah, right? This is the French marina. The Dutch side has more, even though the French side is bigger. We say about 55,000 on the Dutch and 45,000 on the French. Right in front of us, this is where you get the ferry to go to Anguilla and St. Bart's, right there.
See that line right now? That's gotta be there.
To your left, this is the West Indies shopping mall. This is the French shopping mall. It's a very beautiful shopping mall, very expensive shopping mall. They have restrooms there. They will charge you €2 to use the restroom. If you look to your left, you see those brightly painted steps?
Yes.
Those are the steps that you follow if you want to go up to the fort. To your right, that's where you get our local shopping. To your left, pink building, public restrooms, free of charge, right there. In front to your left, if you want your pastries, go right up there.
They'll drop us off here in case anybody wants to shop in this area.
Hey, what are oak beans?
Windjammer at 6, Gus?
Sounds good.
Case? Case? Is Windjammer at 6 okay?
Hey, is that, think that El Loco Fresh is open?
I don't think it is.
So I think it's in Jasper. It's called Gigs. They meet their assholes.
front area. Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah.
Take the road to your right, that leads you through the French side, through the sandy ground area, and then back to the Dutch side. We'll make it a left, going through Marigold, and then we'll be headed back to the Dutch side as well. To your left, this is how the cemeteries are on the French side. We call them Silent City or Underground Hotel. Marina La Royale. Now coming up, you're gonna have what is one of the best kept secrets on the island. That is this street coming up. This is called President Kennedy Street. They say no one knows how it got that name. We all do. To your left, you're going to see a painting on the wall. That's of a former French minister. His name was Mr. Albert Fleming. Now if you look around, you're going to see this is how the shopping is on the French side of the island. On the French side, everything is with boutiques. To your left, main shopping street. Now that's why most people would shop on the Dutch side of the island, because you can get a choice between your boutiques or your local shop. Coming up, this area is called Lothar. All that what you see to your right, all of that used to be the lagoon. They had it filled in so they could build most of what you see. Are very small. Yes. Now coming up here, you're gonna have what was the property of the richest lady on the French side of the island. Just like the guy in Grand Cas, everything you see, the family owns all of it. That lady lived with 100. Yep, she passed away 4 years ago. Her name was Miss Annie Fleming. The two houses to your left, one she was born into, the other one she built. Now all the property from the hilltop comes straight across. All of it belongs to the family. Now that lady back in the day, she used to provide the Caribbean with sugar. She used to supply the entire Caribbean with sugar. You're right. That belongs to her son. That was the former French minister. That was her son. Now this area is called Bellevue. If you look to your right, you're going to see remnants of an old sugar mill right in there. Coming up in front, we're going to have one of the main border crossings we have on the island. Now every year on November the 11th, we celebrate our annual St. Martin's Day. Now right here, government from both sides will come together at this monument to celebrate peace, love and unity between the French and the Dutch. Those white flowers you see, they're called plumera. Now if you guys notice, you'll see we have two different spellings for the island. The Dutch side is this one here, we'll spell M-A-R-T-E-N. On the French side, it is spelled M-A-R-T-I-N.
So it's like this is dividing.
So one side is Sint Maarten, the other is Sint Maarten. Everybody got their pictures?
Yes, thank you.
Alright, now we're back to the Dutch side. Yes, the good side. I'm just going to tell you, the first thing you will notice is casino signs. Now I told you we love our casinos on the Dutch side. You have 6 casinos in the Phillipsburg area, and you have 8 casinos in this area coming up. Now coming up here, we're going to be crossing the Causeway Bridge. This bridge is about 8 to 10 years old. It was built to have the traffic going and coming to the French side of the island. It is also a swing bridge. Swings open 3 times a day so that the boats and yachts can go in and out. Now everything to your right you see, that's French. Everything from the left, Dutch. Now coming up in front of us, here you have the Princess Juliana International Airport. It is the second busiest airport in the Caribbean, only behind San Juan, Puerto Rico. It is also an airport that you might have seen on YouTube, where you have the planes that come in and land over your head. Also, you can stand and get jet blasted by the planes when they're taking off. Now, if you guys would like to see it, I will make make a fast run down the runway so you can get a glimpse of it. It'll take about 10 minutes if you want. Back. Okay, we'll try to be the fast so you can just see how it looks. Now during the hurricane, we had boats that was laying on top of the airport. That's because the airport is in between of two bodies of water. You have the lagoon here, opposite end you're gonna have the beach.
Wow. Yeah. Look at all of this. Yeah, it looks like it's got We go back down, they're gonna see it there. We have all of them here. Domino's, Burger King. No, this is too big for the beach. No, it's not big. I'm used to it. Missed the plane ticket. Now we have Winnie to your left, oldest airline we have on the island. Right here in the roundabout, this is our island bird. It is called the brown pelican. Straight in front, this is our airport. As you can see, it's still under some construction since the hurricane.
whole area. Now straight in front of us along the beach, this is where they stand for the planes to come in. Also where they stand to get jet blasted by the plane when they're taking off.
It's right there.
I've tried it once, never been back.
Yep, yep.
The sand hits you like it's pebbles they're throwing at you, and also you'll end up with sand places you don't need sand. Not good. Yep. You will be standing on the beach where they're standing. When the big plane's taking off, it pushes you straight back into the water. Main attraction on the island, so in case you're ever back, you know where to come to. Everyone I heard talk about it, they enjoy it a lot. I guess it must be fun. Yes, definitely. district of Simpson Bay. Now Simpson Bay is like a second capital to the Dutch side of the island. When Phillipsburg closes at night, this is where you come to. This is where you have all your restaurants, your clubs, nightlife, everything you'll find in the Simpson Bay area. You enter the back. This is where you're gonna find guest houses. You got the Horny Toad. You still have Mary's Bones. These are two of the local guest houses you'll find in the back. Now right here to the left, you're gonna have a casino. To the right, that is the bank. Yes. You wouldn't imagine how many mornings you're gonna pass and someone's crying on the steps of the bank. The casino took all their money. Now in this one area you can find all type of restaurants. You have your Mexican, your French, Italian, Spanish, you got Indian, Beirut, Jerusalem. You'll find all type of food in this one area. It's also where you'll find most of the fast food. You got Subway here. Straight in front of us, McDonald's. On the island we call it the American Embassy. Upstairs you have your Indian food. Across the road you have your Chinese. To your left, you're gonna see a statue hanging. That is the Dutch side fish market. That's where you come to get your fresh fish on the weekends. To the right, one of our police stations. To the left, Coast Guards. Now this bridge here is actually a drawbridge. It goes up and down 3 times a day so that the boats and yachts can go in and out. Normally to the left, this is where you'll find all the yachts. It's in the slow season now, there's a couple of them. But when December comes around, you'll find 200 to 300 yachts docked along the lagoon. December, about November till April, that's how busy it is. To your left, you have skipjacks. Best seafood on the Dutch side, skipjacks. To your right, this is what we call our lolos. This is our locally grilled foods right next to the beach. You can get fish, chicken, ribs, everything on the grill. Number 1 nightclub, that's right there, Lotus, number 1. Right in front of us, you have BK. And if you make the turn to your right, that leads you to Hollywood Casino, as well as most of the hotels in this area. If you want your French pastries but don't want to go to the French side to get them, to your left, this is where you come to. Now coming up, you're going to have one of my favorite spots on the island. That is called Tapas. Now Tapas is our local rum distillery. You can come here to taste test up to 50 different local rum. You can also have lunch. your right, the only movie theater on the island. Right there, you have the Caribbean Cinema. Right next to it, you have a casino. Now on the island, it's accustomed that when you come to the movies on the weekend with your kids, you never stay with your kids. We all leave our kids upstairs in the movies, and we come back down to the casino. To your left, right there, another casino again. We're now entering the Cold Bay area. This area is called Cold Bay. Now coming up, you're gonna have where most of the car dealerships on the that side of the island are. Now on the Dutch side, we have 7 car dealerships. On the French side, they have 3 car dealerships. To your left, you have one of my favorite with the fast food. They always say you can't go wrong with the Colonel. Straight in front of us in the roundabout, you have Osborne Crater. He was dubbed the first ever traffic man on the island. In a time when there was no traffic man, he took it upon himself to do the job. And by that, he saved some kids from a runaway bus. After that day, they appointed him as the first ever traffic man to the island. When he passed, he put a statue in his neighborhood so everyone could remember him. Right, you're going to see everything you'll be able to take pictures of. You have the airport, lagoon, bridges, yachts, everything to your right. Now also below us, This is the district of KB. We call it the noisiest district on the Dutch side. That's because that's where you find the Dutch side water and power plant. Alright everyone, you see the statue? That statue is of Mr. William Henry Bell. Now Mr. Bell and his family owns all the property you see. He also donated part of the property to the government so that they could build the road as well as the flagpole up on top. Now 10 minutes stop so you can have some pictures.
Animal defenders.
We only ask one favor. Trick called Indigo Bay. These are upscale condos and villas, starting from 100,000 and up.
These are nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. They say 100. Can you imagine living on one of those houses?
No,
Last night.
this is the most campsite. It's very nice, only thing, hurricane comes. Yes, you are.
It's like a nice beach.
Down there used to be a salt mine. So it was all water back in the day. They had it blocked up and they built up. But you know, anytime the water comes back in, yeah.
There's a little on the hillside. That house there's.
Yeah, wow. That looks fun. Legs like
Now everyone, look up to your left. You're gonna see what is the highest point on the Dutch side of the island. If you look carefully, you're gonna see what's hanging up there. You guys can see it? Okay, well that is the steepest zip line in the Caribbean. See it now? Alright. Now that is called the Flying Dutchman. Now it takes you 20 minutes on a ski lift to go up. 15 seconds, you get back down. At the top, you have a bar and restaurant. You can sit down and have breakfast and lunch. Yes. Either you drink and then you change your mind and you'll take the lift back down. Now coming up, we're going to have the Dutch side fire and ambulance as well as the Dutch hospital. Another unique thing about this island, if you make a phone call from one side to the next, it goes as an overseas phone call. Oh yes. It's much cheaper to just drive across the border. To your left, by an ambulance, right there. Still to your left, you have the Dutch Hospital having some renovations done. Straight in front of us in the roundabout, you have a statue of a former slave. Now that slave name was One Titty Lucky. Now she got that name because she used to help other slaves escape from the slave masters. And then one day all the slave masters caught her. When they caught her, they took a knife and they cut off one of her breasts. Yep, that's how she got the name One Titty Lucky. We're now in the Bel Air area. The area is called Bel Air. Hold your phones and cameras ready. In a minute, you're going to have a view of the fort on the Dutch side of the island, as well as the ship that's in port today. Be to your right. At the top of the hill, that is called Fort Amsterdam. Right next to the fort, you have the DB Little Bay Resort. Here, got the ship that's the port.
But the beach didn't look that pretty.
Yeah. In a busy season, we can have up to 8 ships in one day.
Oh wow.
When it gets like that, we like to say we have more than on the island.
Chris, do you see how blue that is?
Yeah.
Also right there, you have the nicest beach we have in this area. It is called the Great Big Beach. The locals, we call it the boardwalk. Now, there is about a 10-minute walk to get back to your ship from there. You guys can take a taxi, that'll be $3 a person. Or you can get water taxis, which is about $5 a person. Now, what time do you guys ship leave?
5:30.
Okay, does anyone wants to stop in the capital on their way back? Or all you guys going back to the ship?
We want to go to the beach.
If you want to I just find out how you can get back to the ship, and you can find it back. It's not hard. But it's only if you want not to the ship.
Is it easy to get a taxi from the beach?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And if it's from here, it only costs you $3 to get back to the ship.
Okay.
We got some time, so we got about 2 hours before the ship starts to get ready. one of our best local food spots. It's called Sexy Beef. Now the lady says it's all about her sauce. Whenever she puts that sauce on the meat, makes it all sexy. If you look to your left, you're gonna see we have the salt pond right here. Everything that we're driving on and most of what you see to your right, all of that used to be the salt pond. They had it filled in so they could build. Right here you have Carls and Sons. This is the oldest bakery we have on the island. Now if you like your curry or your roti foods, to your left, this is where you get all your roti and curry food. Now if you want to pay your water or your light bills, this right here, this is where you come to. To your right, you have Central Bank, the Sint Maarten and Curacao. To your left, you have the building with the green roof. That is where you go to for your government affairs. And straight in front of us in the roundabout, this is our salt pickers. It shows you how we used to do the process of harvesting the salt. That white stuff you see in front of them, that is actually rock salt. Once again, freedom fighter. For the people who wants to stop in the Phillipsburg area, your stop is going to come up. Still that people want to stop? Nobody's answered? Nobody wants to stop? No. All right. your ship passes. Get your ship passes ready. Security's gonna come on board. You gotta show them your ship pass. Excuse me? No, that's just sand. They have fun. What happens is most of what you see, including the port, all of that used to be the sea. Everything here got filled in so they could build all of this.